Some characters are written to be icons, while others become icons in spite of the writing. But when fans fall in love while the writers look the other way, that's when frustration turns into outrage. From sidelined legends to emotional cornerstones tossed aside for shock value. This is Next of Kin, and today we're counting down the top 10 characters the writers absolutely did dirty. Let's get into it. 10. Lafayette, True Blood. When Lafayette showed up, he took the screen. From the first episode, he commanded attention with razor-sharp humor and a magnetic presence that could flip a scene from dramatic to unforgettable with a single look. And behind all the sass and sarcasm lived a character with real emotional weight. Lafayette carried real trauma and vulnerability, but he never let the world break him. He was vibrant, layered, and unapologetically himself. A rare spark of authenticity in a world drowning in vampire angst and supernatural chaos. And yet, the writers didn't seem to know what they had. While others were handed dramatic arcs, shocking transformations, and season-long spotlights, Lafayette was too often relegated to the sidelines. It was especially frustrating knowing that in the original novels, his role was even bigger and more impactful. Lafayette deserved a storyline worthy of his power, but instead, we got glimpses. Fleeting greatness? A star left waiting offstage while less compelling characters took the stage. 9. Luna Lovegood, Harry Potter. Luna Lovegood wasn't introduced with flash or fanfare, she simply appeared and instantly became one of the most compelling people in the wizarding world. She had this gentle, effortless brilliance about her. Her wisdom didn't come from books or ambition. It came from surviving loss, from understanding loneliness, and from refusing to change just to be accepted. Luna's kindness wasn't naive, it was courageous. She stood by her friends when it mattered most, even when the rest of Hogwarts looked the other way. Which is why her treatment in the story always felt like a missed opportunity. While fans fell in love with her depth and perspective, the films mostly reduced her to a quirky sidekick. Luna deserved storylines that explored how someone so often dismissed could still be the one who sees the truth most clearly. The wizarding world needed more Luna, more empathy, more imagination, more heart, and honestly, so did we. 8. Glenn Rhee, The Walking Dead. Glenn Rhee was the kind of survivor The Walking Dead desperately needed, not because he was ruthless or unstoppable, but because he refused to let the apocalypse turn him into a monster. He risked his life for strangers. He believed in love when everything around him screamed that love was pointless. He reminded both the characters and the audience why staying human mattered, which is why his death hit like a punch straight to the chest. Yes, fans of the comics knew it was coming, but context is everything. By the time the show reached that moment, Glenn wasn't just a character following a storyline, he had become the heart of the series. Removing him didn't just shock because it shattered the balance of the narrative. The show leaned harder into cruelty, while losing the one person who reminded us what they were all fighting for. Many viewers left that day, not because tragedy can't happen, but because Glenn deserved better than being reduced to a plot device for pain. 7. Adebayo, Peacemaker. In a show overflowing with unfiltered chaos, Adebayo was the grounding force. She wasn't the strongest fighter or the loudest personality, but she was the one constantly asking what all of this meant. She questioned the mission, her place in it, and the morality of working for a system that didn't always deserve loyalty. While others pushed into the margins overshadowed by flashier personalities and bigger egos. Adebayo had the potential to be the heart and soul of the series. The writers laid the groundwork. But they didn't give her the focus she earned. If Peacemaker comes back, it's time for Adebayo to step into the spotlight. Not as a sidekick, not as comic relief, but as the emotional anchor she's already proven she can be. 6. Trinity, The Matrix. Trinity was the catalyst, not just another freedom fighter. Long before Neo believed he was the one, she believed in him. Her conviction shaped the prophecy. Her skills set the standard. She was the person everyone else looked to when the odds were impossible. In that first film, she was revolutionary, a sci-fi heroine who wasn't defined by romance or vulnerability, but by precision, power, and purpose. And then, the narrative slowly forgot that. Across the sequels, Trinity, who once led Neo, was pushed into the familiar role of the girlfriend behind the hero. The story that she helped ignite shifted away from her entirely, until her motivations and even her survival revolved around Neo instead of her own agency. Her love wasn't the problem. How the writers treated that love was. Trinity deserved to evolve into a leader of legends, a cornerstone of the new world she helped save. Instead, She became proof of how quickly groundbreaking women can be boxed into old tropes. 5. Nymphadora Tonks, Harry Potter. Tonks burst into the story like a firework, bright, unpredictable, and completely unforgettable. She wasn't just another witch with a wand. She was a metamorph magus, someone who could reinvent herself at will. That alone should have made her one of the most fascinating characters in the entire franchise. Add in her rebellious spirit, her bravery in the face of war, and her joyfully messy personality. She was lightning in human form. But while the books gave us glimpses of her struggle, her courage, and the love that kept her fighting, the films barely let her exist. She was reduced to comic relief and background moments. Her relationship with Lupin, rich with themes of sacrifice and acceptance, was treated like a footnote. And when the final battle came, her death wasn't a moment. It was a passing mention. A character who represented resilience and individuality never got the chance to show what she could truly do. 4. Captain Phasma, Star Wars. Captain Phasma arrived with the force of a marketing meteor. Chrome armor gleaming, posture commanding, voice calm and deadly. She looked like the kind of villain who would reshape the galaxy. Fans were ready for a new icon. A stormtrooper commander with a name, a past, and the authority to strike fear into anyone unlucky enough to cross her path. And then, she did nothing. Across 2 films, Phasma was treated like a walking prop. A cool visual, quickly discarded whenever the plot needed a cheap win for the heroes. She survived a trash chute only to fall into a fire pit. She returned from the ashes only to be defeated again just minutes later. There was no exploration of what made her feared, how she rose to power, or why the First Order trusted her above thousands of soldiers. Instead of becoming the Boba Fett of a new generation, she was tossed aside faster than the original ever was. Phasma wasn't a mistake, though the writing for her was. A character with elite status, mystery, and franchise-defining potential deserved a storyline, not a series of abrupt exits. 3. Mike Wheeler, Stranger Things. From the very first season, Mike Wheeler was the one who drove the story. He was the one who never gave up on Will, the one who opened his home and his heart to a terrified girl with a shaved head and a dangerous secret. Mike stood up to bullies, to monsters, to grown men with guns, because his instinct was always to protect the people he cared about. He was the team's anchor, the strategist, the voice telling everyone they could win when the world said they couldn't. But somewhere along the way, that leader disappeared. As the show expanded and new fan-favorite characters took center stage, Mike's role shrank to a narrow stereotype: the anxious, lovesick boyfriend. The kid who once brought the group together now struggles to keep up. While others get arcs about identity, trauma, and power, Mike mostly stands in the background watching the plot happen without him. It's not that he stopped being important, it's that the writing stopped showing it. Mike helped shape the heart of Stranger Things. He deserves a story that recognizes the impact he had and the hero he still could be in the season coming. 2. Lexa, the 100. Lexa was a revolutionary, a warrior who refused to let the brutality of her world extinguish her hope for a better one. She led with strategy, with power, and with a quiet vulnerability she shared only with those she trusted. Her bond with Clark was bigger than romance. It was ideology, partnership, the merging of 2 leaders who believed peace was worth fighting for. Fans saw themselves in her strength, in her doubts, in the way she loved without apology. But instead of letting her legacy unfold, the writers chose a path that felt like betrayal. Not just to the story, but to the people who cared about her. A quick, senseless death, right after a moment of happiness. It wasn't just shocking, it was familiar. A pattern fans knew too well. Queer characters punished the moment their love becomes real. The impact was immediate and enormous. Protests, campaigns, conversations about representation that still echo today, because Lexa meant something, and her story deserved more than a trope. 1. Pusey Washington, Orange is the New Black. Some characters become the soul of a story without ever needing the spotlight. And that was Pusey. She was laughter in a place built on suffering. She reminded everyone, inmates and audience alike, that humanity survives even where compassion is starved. Her dreams were simple, and that made them powerful. Freedom, love, a life she could finally call hers. So when the writers chose to take her away, it didn't feel like a story maturing, and it felt like a story collapsing. Her death was brutal not because tragedy doesn't belong in drama, but because her journey was one of the few still aiming toward hope. She deserved a future. She deserved payoff. She deserved justice. Instead, her ending became a symbol. of the real-world lives cut short by systems designed to break people like her. Those were our picks. But now it's your turn. Which character do you think the writers sabotaged the most? Who should have gotten the happy ending, or at least a chance to finish their story? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a list. Thanks for watching Next of Ken. See you in the next one.